Dear students, hello everyone. This is Dr. Akhlad Iqbal. Hope all of you are fine and staying safe at your home. So, I have prepared this presentation for the optimization students. As you know that this is the course handout. You can have a look. I hope all of you must have this course handout. Otherwise, you can download it from my departmental homepage. And we have already covered unit 1 and most of the part from unit 2 before lockdown, and you have also submitted nicely your assignment 1, which includes problems from unit 1 and unit 2. Now this unit 3, you can see here the title is Introduction to NLPP, Non-Linear Programming Problem and Some Solving Methods. So here in this lecture I will cover some of the part of unit 3. So it starts with convex functions and their properties. You have already studied convex sets in your unit 1. Here we will take convex functions, and then general non-linear programming problem. You have studied linear programming problem, how to formulate and how to solve real life problems, and there were different methods: graphical methods, simplex methods, two-phase methods, big M method. Same as here we have non-linear programming problems, and we have the methods for solving. So here also I have taken 4 methods. 2 methods are graphical methods and Lagrange multiplier methods, which called constant optimization problems, and 2 methods are the steepest descent method and Newton's method, which you can consider in a class of unconstrained optimization problem. So let us start with, so these are my notes and I have already shared to you. This is also available in my departmental homepage and you can download it from here. It is in brief. So first definition, you can see convex functions. So a set S subset of Rn be a convex set means, first thing what, if you are defining a convex function, your domain should be a convex set. Convex set is, you can recall the definition, a set is said to be a convex if for any 2 points lying in the set, and if we join these 2 points by a line segment, then the line segment should also lie in the set. So you can see that a circle and a disk. Circle is not a convex set because if you take a 2 points on the boundary and you join these 2 points by a line, you can see this line will not lie on the circle because circle is just a boundary. But if you take a disk, suppose unit disk x square plus y square less than equal to 1. So if now you take 2 points and join these 2 points, you can see this point, this line segment will be lying inside the disk. So circle is not a convex set and disk is a convex functions. In the same way you have studied so many examples. So convex function, a set let S subset of Rn be convex set, then a function f from S to R is called a convex function for all x1 x2 in S. We have f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2 less than equal to lambda fx1 plus 1 minus lambda fx2, lambda lying between 0 to 1. Geometrically, what does it mean? It means, suppose you have a curve, suppose this is a function fx, I have taken example, and here you have 2 points x1 x2 belongs to S. Suppose this is on the x-axis. So now if I take a image, so this will be x1 fx1 is the point P on the curve and this point Q is on the curve x2 comma fx2. So the left hand side, if you see, it is f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2, means what, the image of the line segment of this x1 x2 joining x1 x2. So this thing, the image of this line segment, it's always less than equal to the line segment of images fx1 plus 1 minus lambda fx2, means Geometrically, a function is convex if for any 2 points P and Q on the curve, the line segment joining P and Q always lie on or above the curve between P and Q. You can see this is the line segment, it is always lying on or above the curve. This is the curve. So whenever you take any 2 points here geometrically, and whenever you join these 2 points by any line segment, this line segment should always come above the curve. Examples are like you can see fx equal to x square. It is simple parabola. So if you see parabola, you take any 2 points, if you will join, always any line will be coming above the curve. Similarly, mod x, you know how to draw mod x. Mod x is also the example, or you can take ex. Ex is also, you see, going the curve. You can plot all these graph easily and you can see easily. Fx equal to minus under root 1 minus x square. If you see, it is representing a semicircle where x lying between minus 1 2 plus 1. So it is the lower semicircle. So it is always convex. Concave function, a function, of course, a function just reverse of the convex. A function fx on a non-empty convex subset of Rn is said to be concave if minus fx is convex. That means if this inequality reverse. In convex it was less than equal to, in concave it will become greater than equal to. So geometrically, the line segment joining P and Q is always lie on or below the curve between P and Q. So you can take downward parabola, like fx equal to x square is upward parabola. You can take downward parabola minus x square. Similarly, fx equal to minus mod x, ln x. These all are concave functions. If the inequality 1 is strict, then the function f is called a strictly convex functions. There are several important properties of these convex functions. We have a very important applications of convex optimization. We will be using these convex functions for solving optimization problem. First property, a linear function is both convex and concave. You can see, you take any linear function, draw a line y is equal to fx, where it's a linear function. Any line like 2x plus 3y is equal to 0 or 6 or something. So it will always convex and concave, because whenever you take any 2 point on the line, if you will join the points by a line, so the line will be lying itself on the curve, which is a linear function. Okay, a function may be neither convex or nor concave, like fx equal to sin x. So if you see the graph of fx equal to sin x from minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2, so in half part it is convex, in half part it is convex. Okay, I can show you the graph of this if you want. Like say, so suppose here graph of sin x. So you can see here, this is the graph. Okay, so yes, so here in half part it is convex and half part it is concave, or it is something else. So you can see it here only. So here you can see this like, so here this part is convex but this part is concave. So if I am taking the whole interval 0 to 2 pi, so it is neither convex nor concave. However, in the interval pi to 2 pi it is convex, and in the interval 0 to pi it is concave. So it is in 0 to 2 pi I can say it is neither convex nor concave. Okay, so come back to our slides. Yes, similarly, a convex function need not be differentiable. Example, fx is equal to mod x. This is, you know, mod x at x equal to 0 it is not differentiable. A convex function need not even be continuous. For example, I have taken this particular example. If x lying between minus 1 to 1, it is x square, so it's a this is parabola, what parabola, and x equal to 1 it is 2. So it means at 1 it has a jump, so it is discontinuous. It is not continuous at x equal to 1. However, this is important thing. However, a convex function is always continuous in the interior of its domain. Means Okay, if you take a domain, so in its interior it will always be a continuous, means the continuity can be break only at the boundary points. Like here, if you see that this one is the boundary point. So thus, if F is convex over a convex set S subset of Rn, the points of discontinuity could only be the boundary of S, not the interior. In the interior, you can say a convex function is always continuous. Then one more simple property, let f and g be two convex functions over S, then f plus g, alpha f, hx, maximum of fxgs, they are all convex functions. There are several other properties. If you want to see, you can find it in net or in some other books. I have not taken that. So let us come to the next topic, non-linear programming problems. So non-linear programming problem is also important concept, and we use it to determine optimal solution in many real life problems. So in a non-linear programming problem, either the objective function is non-linear, or one or more or all the constants are non-linear. Non-linear means, of course, you may have the degree of x1 x2 more than 1, or you may have product term. So here these page numbers, these are from your textbook Kanti Swaroop. So I have put in I have put here a number. It is your textbook number. If you want to, if you have the Xerox or notes, you can see it from there. So general non-linear programming problem. Suppose I am taking z is equal to f x1 x2 xn be a real valued function. So general objective function I am taking. And suppose you have g1 x1 x2 xn may be less than, greater than, or equal to b1 g2 x1 x2 xn less than, greater than, equal to b2, and so on. So where all gi's are real valued functions and all xj greater than 0. So j I have taken, if you see 1 to n, so there are n unknowns. So if either f, this objective function, or some of these constants, or both are non-linear, then the problem of determining these n unknowns and tuples which maximizes or minimizes z and satisfies the given constant, this is called a general non-linear programming problem. This thing I can write in matrix notation, same as we have done in linear programming problems. Determine x transpose belongs to Rn, because you have n tuples, so it belongs to Rn, so as to maximize or minimize z is equal to fx subject to the constant gix greater than equal to, less than equal to bi, where all x greater than equal to 0, they are satisfying the feasibility condition, and I is running 1 to m, and either fix or gix or both are non-linear functions. One important remark here, in LPP you have seen that the optimal solution always exists at one of the extreme point of the convex feasibility region. You have seen in the graphical method, okay, whenever we have a common region, so we always check the optimum value at the extreme points, and one of the extreme points will give you the optimum value, but it is not the case in NLPP. Here the optimum solution can be found anywhere on the boundary of the feasibility region and even at some interior point of it. Means here the optimal solution can exist inside the feasibility region also. And one more important thing here, that in LPP the feasibility region is always convex, this thing, but in NLPP it is not the case. The feasible region may be non-convex also. Okay, so here now we have first method, like in your LPP, graphical method. So I have taken to explain this one problem number is mentioned here. Minimize the distance of the origin from the convex region bounded by the constants x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 4, 2x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 5, x1 x2 greater than equal to 0. So here, if you see, your constants are given to you linear, and objective function is what? Objective function you have to construct, it will be what? The distance between the origin and from the convex region bounded by this. So this problem I can say it is equivalent to minimizing the radius of a circle with origin as center, say this. Means how? So firstly, if you plot the convex region x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 4, so like we have done in your LPP graphical method, I will take a line, and because it's greater than equal to, so I will take the region above this region. Second is 2x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 5, so this is the line 2x1 plus x2 is equal to 5, and greater than equal to means I will take this region. So the common of these two lines, if you see, it is coming, this is the region which I have shown here by this shaded line. So now the problem is that you have to find the distance from the origin. So it is the origin and it is the convex region. So we have to find the distance, minimum distance. So you know distance, I can write distance is between 2 points is x1 square, where one point is origin, x1 square plus x2 square under root with under root. So I can write the problem is that minimizing the radius of a circle with origin as center, say r square is equal to x1 square plus x2 square, such that it touches the convex region bounded by the given constraint. That means if you want to find, and so it means your point will be lying here somewhere. So I want that that point will be in the convex region such that the distance of that point in the convex region to the origin is minimum. So what I will do, say I can say that I am plotting circles, and if I am extending the circle like this, so the circle which will enter here and which will touch firstly with the convex region, so that point of contact will give you the minimum distance. It is the basically it is the algorithm for solving this. So that means what, the objective function will be what, minimum of z x1 square plus x2 square. We want to find its minimum value and subject to the constraints. So it means what here, so we are searching a pair x1 x2 which gives a minimum value of x1 square plus x2 square and lies in the convex region. So the desired point will be what, it will be the point of the region at which a side of the convex region is tangent to the circle. As I told you, say we have a circle, and if you just start extending the circle, so the circle will extend like this, and whenever it will enter the convex region, so wherever it touch the convex region, that point of contact that will be a common to this circle and this convex region, that will give you the basically that point, the smallest point. So it means what, so that point, at that point I can take a tangent line to the circle. So now we have two lines, if you see here. So you know that if that circle will touch the region, so either it can touch this line or this line. So in figure I can see this is the line, but if I don't know, so it may touch this line or this line. So wherever it will touch the line, the slope of the line and the circle at that point will be same, or here same at here. So the slope of this line you can find by differentiability method. I can write this 2x1 dx, differentiating the circle. Firstly I am taking differentiation of the circle. So you can write 2x1 dx1 plus 2x2 dx2 is equal to 0, or it will give you dx2 over dx1 is equal to minus x1 over x2. So it is the slope of the circle at a point x1 x2. And now differentiating the equalities. So here you have 2 dx1 plus dx2 is equal to 0, so its slope is minus 2. Similarly dx1 plus dx2 is equal to 0, its slope is minus 1. It is just the slope you can see here, or you can see by the line method also. If you compare with y is equal to mx plus c, so you can see it is x2 is equal to y minus 2x2, so here m is minus 2, so the same thing it is giving with the slope. So now from 1 and 3 we can see here, okay, now when the circle will touch these two lines, so either it will touch this or it will touch this. So when it is touching the first line, so this slope will be equal, like means minus x1 over x2 is minus 2, so it will give you an equation. Or if this circle touch the second line, x1 plus x2 is equal to 4, in that case minus I can take this slope equal, it will give you this equation. So you got 2 points, 2 equations, and this shows that the circle has as a tangent to the line x1 plus x2 is equal to 4 at the point 2 comma 2. This I can solve because x1 plus x2 is equal to 4. So I am taking first, if circle is touching this line, so in this line we have already x1 is equal to x2. So when I am putting x1 is equal to x2, you are getting the 2 points. So at the here the point of contact is 2 comma 2 for this line, and similarly for the second line the point of contact is 2 comma 1, and you can see that 2 comma 1 does not lie in the convex region. 2 comma 1 is not lying here. You can see it's because it is this is the point 0 comma 4, this is the point 4 comma 0 0 comma 4. So 2 comma 1 does not lie on the convex region, so discard it. So it means the only point which lies in the convex region is the 2 comma 2, and so we got the minimum point, minimum distance is 8 at 2 comma 2. Similarly, second, one more problem I have taken. Solve graphically max z is equal to 2x1 plus 3x2 subject to the constants x1 x2 less than equal to 8, x1 square plus x2 square less than equal to 20, x1 x2 both are positive. So here also you can see that now the constants are non-linear, so it is an NLPP, and you know that x1 x2 less than equal to 8, it represents a rectangular hyperbola. So I can take like this is showing x1 x2 is equal to 8, and x1 square plus x2 square is equal to 20 is a circle of radius root 20. So I can take, because it is in the first quadrant, so I can take the only this 1/4 of the circle, quarter of the circle, and because these both are less than equal to, so the convex region, the shaded region is the convex region, is the feasible region, sorry. And here you can see this feasible region is not convex, as I told you that feasible region in NLPP may not be convex. You can see it is not convex. If you take one point here, one point here, and join, the line segment will be coming outside, not inside this. So this is a non-convex region, this shaded region, it is a non-convex region. So now we need x1 x2 such that 2x1 plus 3x2 is maximum and lies in this non-convex region. Here it is non-convex. I have written by mistake it is convex, it is non-convex. So we start with the same way. So I consider, suppose 2x1 plus 3x2 is equal to some constant k is the maximum value, it is the value of this line. So now I want to find what is the maximum k. So what I will do, suppose if I start with k is equal to 0, so it will be a line like this. So I am putting different value of k, so what will be coming, it will be giving you a line parallel to this 2x1 plus 3x2 is equal to k, and it is moving like this. You are putting value of k some 1 2 3, so it is coming this and this, and ultimately at some point what will happen, it will be touching this boundary, and at the last it will be leaving this region. So here you can see it is leaving here, and after that it will come outside, so which is not the feasible region. So I will have to take up to this, so you can see it is reaching here. So here I have to see that where it is giving you the maximum value. So here in the figure you can see that it is touching at 4 comma 2 and 2 comma 4, it is the extreme point here. And if you will find a value, so at 2 comma 4 it is giving you the maximum value 16. At 4 comma 2 you can check it is coming 14, which is less than. So I want to find the maximum value, so here this is the maximum value of this objective function, which is 16. So by this way we can find this optimum value. After this there are several problems in the exercise in this book. You can solve some problems by yourself. In the next lecture I will explain second method of Lagrange's method. Till then, do practicing all the problem and stay safe at your home. Goodbye.